Less than 2 weeks away from the start of free agency, the Vikings make news tonight by informing Alexander Madison he will not return with the team in the 2024 season. We'll break down what this means from a salary cap perspective, as well as give our thoughts on what the Vikings might now do in the draft or free agency now that the only running back of any consequence they have is Ty Chandler. But before we do that, please hit that like button and that subscribe button and help me grow this channel as we head into the start of the 2024 free agency period. Today's news is a bit bittersweet for me. I had high hopes for Alexander Madison, both on the field as well as the fact that I have interacted with his father and a few of his relatives off the field as well. I take no pleasure in saying that Alexander Madison just didn't cut it on the field last year as a starting running back for the Minnesota Vikings. After taking over after the Vikings released Dalvin Cook with the running back one position, Alexander Madison had only 700 rushing yards, 30 carries, and not a single rushing touchdown. This move will add $3.35 million of salary cap space to the Vikings' available cap and will only have a dead cap hit of $1.25 million. Last season, when he signed this 2-year extension, there were no void years added, so there will be no carryover past this season against the salary cap. Ultimately, some may say Alexander Madison just couldn't handle being an RB1, and there is some truth to that. He was better suited and still is better suited to be an RB2, and I have a hunch he will pick up with a team that will allow him to continue in that role. But I will say this, let's save a little bit of the disappointment to Kevin O'Connell, who absolutely never committed to the run game. In fact, really didn't commit to it in his first season either, but the Vikings managed to get away with it because of the home run ability of Dalvin Cook. It has already been speculated that the Vikings may show some interest in Saquon Barkley, and for the right price, I would be okay with that. I'm not going to break the bank for a running back at any point in time, but Saquon is relatively young. He's coming off of his rookie contract post the 1-year franchise tag he got from the New York Giants last season, and would be a very good addition for this Minnesota Vikings offense. He can run the ball, catch the ball, and pass block. And hopefully, if somebody like a Saquon Barkley were to be brought in, this team would actually do a little bit better job of committing to the running game. Derrick Henry is another name in free agency that has been bandied about. And ultimately, for veterans minimum, I wouldn't mind taking that. But I don't think he, at this point in his career, is going to be willing to take that kind of a deal. But with that being said, this does open the door for the Vikings to now be considering running back in either the second or fourth round. Unless, of course, they make some trades into the third. At the moment, this leaves Ty Chandler as the Vikings' unquestioned and undisputed running back one, and I do like what I have seen from Ty Chandler, but I don't think he is ready to carry the load at this point in time. I would be very happy to see Saquon Barkley on this team, and with the additional cap space, it is a move the Vikings would be able to make relatively easily. Regardless of whether they bring back Kirk Cousins as their starting quarterback or not, this team needs to get back to running the ball. We all know Kevin O'Connell is married to the passing game. That's what he did when he won a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator. But this team, regardless of who the quarterback is going to need a stout running game. And no, unfortunately, Alexander Madison just wasn't cutting it. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment. Do you agree with this move by the Minnesota Vikings to let Alexander Madison go? And now you only have Ty Chandler and Kenny Nwangwu as your running backs. And do you think that the Vikings may now spend a higher draft pick on a running back? Thank you kindly, as always, for joining me. And as always, Skol to the next episode.